All right. So, welcome back to yet another day of UDYAM 2025. Just a moment, let me share the screen. So, today marks the second day of UDYAM 2025, and before we start, let's talk about what we spoke about yesterday, what we discussed yesterday. So, I think yesterday we spoke about three major topics, and we tried to understand where we can place ourselves uh, with respect to those topics. One was agile as a concept, how agile can help us drive the projects efficiently. Then we try to understand one of the tools, that is Jira, like how it can help drive these projects, right? And then we worked with Syed and brushed up our concepts of professional communication, that is business communication. We did some exercises to understand like where we stand with the understanding, as well as what else we can focus on or we can learn, right? So with that brief recap, I would just like to open the floor for any questions or doubts. Maybe because of time constraint yesterday, because we got a little bit extended, if someone was not able to ask any question, they can do that now, right? So I'm just opening the floor for any questions if there are. Anyone can come in, drop by, raise your hands, and ask your questions. Anybody has any questions around agile, or any questions around Jira, or let's say business communication, like
I
you?
do have a question.
Yeah, Nuha, please
Uh,
go ahead.
Actually, I got to know about Jira that it's a very widely used project management tool, and it's kind of secure and it tracks bugs and issues. But what are the challenges faced by people while using Jira? Was something missing?
I think not just Jira, but when you start interacting with any tool that helps you manage something, right? There are a lot of dimensions to it. It's not just putting up or creating a issue. It's creating a bug or ticket, and then tracking it or moving it into different um, states, right? In progress, completed, or testing, under testing, and all those. It's also about keeping an eye on, keeping a watch on uh, how old these issues are getting. Generally we call this as issue aging. Second thing is, when it comes to interface, which has got a lot of options to play with, a lot of flexibility, right? It is also difficult for people to sometimes navigate through different pages or different sections of such application. That is another difficulty people sometimes face. Not always, but sometimes people do face that. Third thing is, people sometimes understand Jira as a static documentation portal, which is wrong. I mean, you just have to drop your comment and just go away, or you just have to track your status there and just leave it as it is. It's not true. I mean, it has got a lot of functionalities, and it has got a lot of dimension to it. I mean, it got a lot of volume to it, which people have to still use. So people sometimes guess it wrong as a complex application, and they tend to find it difficult to navigate through. But I think it's a step by step process. If they follow, it's easier. I hope, Nuha, I was able to answer your question, or if you have any follow up question, you can.
No, no, no. That's it.
Because it has got a lot of options on the screen. Once you practice or start using it, right, you will see that it has got a lot of options, and that's when sometimes you'll find it difficult to search for your option. But it's always customizable. If you don't want to use certain options, you can always disable them. You can request your administrator. If you're not the administrator, you can request your administrator to disable options which are not in use, or which are not to be used by your project. That's how companies generally work. They will not always utilize all the 1,000, 2,000 features of Jira. They'll utilize limited features so that it's keeping it simple, keeping it more adaptive, and keeping it easier for folks to use it, right? So that's the idea.
Okay, okay.
All right. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Anyone else from the crowd have any other questions before we move ahead with our today's first topic?
Not sure about questions, Akshay, but I joined.
Hey, I say it. All right. Thanks for joining, Sayed, for taking out time. Sahithi will be joining us in a while. So let me just, fire up my presentation and we can start with today's first topic. That is one of the important topic, I must say. Just give me a moment. I'll put it into presentation mode. Okay. Just let me know. I think it's visible. Can anyone confirm if the screen is visible to? Okay.
Yes, yes, we can see your
All
screen.
right. Thank you. I think a lot of people may be using Jira or they may be accustomed with Jira, people in the industry, but there are people who are still not using Confluence, right? It's not a compulsion, but again, Confluence is also uh, a product that is manufactured or created, developed by the same company that has developed Jira, and Confluence generally comes as a package for you, okay, along with Jira. Even in the trial version, if you look at, you will find a Confluence under that, packed with paired with the Jira. So what is Confluence? I mean, right, Confluence is nothing but it's a shared document space. It's a shared space where you all the teammates would sit together. They will, work. They'll put in their notes, they'll put in their documents, they'll put in their ideas, and they will collaborate. Now you may think that Jira already does that, right? Why do we need Confluence? But what if you want to create an entire library of issues? For example, let's say in my project, one of my projects, we work with a lot of recurring issues. We work with a lot of user issues, wherein users will reach out to us for different technical problems or bugs that they are facing. And let's say someone is new in the team, they are not much aware of the entirety of the project. They will always need a dev reference document to look at, something like how we Google. It will be something like our own personal Google, okay, storing all the client specific, customer specific technical documents. It will be a library where you can just find your documents with a keystroke and look into these steps to be taken, and you can help your customer. It is also a space where you can maintain a library of a knowledge library or a knowledge base. So basically, it comes under the category of project management where it majorly deals with the knowledge management or documentation management. Okay, it is also developed by Atlassian, uh, just like how Jira is, and that's all. I mean, it's a central hub for everything. Okay, we create a lot of pages on Confluence where we work with um, creating team pages, creating common pages for a specific category of users, different applications or softwares that we support. We create pages for that. Then we created sub pages. It's kind of a branch structure. Okay, so again, I have already spoken about why we should be using Confluence. It's a centralized hub for all the knowledge and all the documents. It also helps people to collaborate on a single document. Let's say I have put up a document which talks about a specific topic. Let's say it's talking about an event, a specific event that our team is organizing. Now, different people in the team may have different ideas. They may have different understanding of that event, right? And all of us would like to brainstorm together, would like to note down all these ideas and collab. We would like to collaborate, and if we are not co-located or not situated at the same place, it's quite difficult to meet physically. So what we'll do, virtually we'll create a space, we'll create a document, and everybody will start putting up their ideas, and that's the way they will work with it. Now another idea, now we can keep all these documents along with different versions as well. Okay, now we can maintain different versions in this documentation. We can have different documents where let's say if I say again event plan, so I can have event plan version 1, version 2, version 3. So the way one by one we start improving this plan, we can give it a version, and that way we'll understand how many changes that document has gone through, and we'll understand the entire history and the weightage of that document. Okay, so let's look at how Confluence looks like and see if we can create a page, right? Let's do that. Let me quickly go to Confluence. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. You can see Confluence here.
Yes,
Can
yes,
anyone
we can.
confirm? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not looking at my screen, so I cannot see thumbs up. Today, I'm not using another monitor, so it will be helpful for people if you can just anyone can unmute and say. So thanks, Ayat, for that. So this is one of the home pages or first ever pages of Confluence where I would like to put in my notes. You know, so Confluence has basically given me some notes here. I mean, some elements here which I can always use. Okay. So if you can look at it, this is the heading, and then we have a date. Then we have some goals I can add. It is trying to tell me you can add icons, you can add this links here, you can add a table, you can add check boxes like an action item, right? You can add decisions. You can just type in your decision and that will be posted. So see, a lot of collaboration happens on the screen with respect to Confluence. Okay, so let's say if I want to add something, this was a draft. Anyhow, this was a draft. If I, let's say, publish it, that means I'm saving it. Okay, so let's say I'm publishing this page. I'll have this page published, and people can now come back and collaborate on this one. I can add people here. It is asking me to add people, so anyone can join. They can always come, click on edit, and then they can start editing. So let's say it's a date. I'll write down 21st Feb. It's, I can mention people here. I can even add some things. Let me add another checklist item. Let's say event report. That is something I want to create. One sec. Event report. So whether event report is done or not, I would like to work with that. Another item. See, all the elements are here on the top taskbar. If you look at, you can add a code snippet, you can add an info panel, you can add a code, decision, expand date, status, Jira issues. You can even link Jira issues. Whatever issues are there on Jira, you can call them here. Let's say you have mentioned this, right? Something like time item. So under item, you can add a Jira. So if I click on Jira here, a small window will open where I can search with. If I search with Scrum 1, so if you guys remember yesterday we deleted this item, right? So it will not able to find it. So if I create a new Jira issue, I can call that Jira issue here. So precisely, I can create entire timeline of things, timeline of a report here, and I can add those Jira numbers and all for reference, so that we can always get into understanding. Always we can have this analytics report created. Now we can always think, when Jira is able to track status, why do we need Confluence separately for that? Well, I would say Jira is something which is more technical, and as a user, I may not know how Jira is, what Jira is. I may not even know how what Confluence is. But if Confluence is helping me with a tabular format, other than Excel, if this is a collaborative place where I can work and share things, it's much easier. Even Excel has a sharing option, but it is limited by its size. If you have a lot of data in an Excel and multiple people are working on it, then it is highly likely that it will hang, it will be dropped by on that entire Excel sheet will be frozen. But that kind of drawback you'll not find here, because this is basically a web page, so everybody can come here, collaborate, and they can work on it. So I can click on update, and whatever I've added will now be seen as an update. So this is how Confluence looks like, and it has got various options to work around. And this is really fun to work with. I mean, it takes it obviously takes time, because documentation obviously takes time. And as per one of our manifests, right, working software over comprehensive documentation, this kind of basic, limited, minimal documentation always helps to explain ourselves better, present ourselves better. Now, Jira can be internal to your project. Confluence can be something where you can create reports and show to your clients. Okay, so let's come back to our presentation. Just now had a we had a page created, and we were editing the elements over it, and we have published that page. We have updated that page with things, so that it's really easy. It's as easy as simply typing things and just saving it. So instead of saving, we call it publishing. We also saw that there were options for us onto our Confluence page to mention people. For example, in this project or in this page, I'm the only user, so I have an option to mention myself. I can even mention others. I can create a table like for the current team members with their roles and responsibilities, and I can mention them, so that if I click on this, it will give me my email address, and I can always reach out to that person. Okay, so that's how it basically helps us to work around in different collaborative spaces. Now, we'll work with how this Confluence works on day 3, that is tomorrow. We'll try to understand more about how to add, edit, and update pages. This was a very small and a simple topic. I really don't want to go into anything technical, because there is none. It's as easy as having a document which is online, and all of you are editing it together in a collaborative manner. I would now welcome any questions regarding Confluence, and I would really like to answer those. So if we can have people raising their hands and asking questions, that would really help. To be honest, this was a really small topic. I don't even have to spend more than 10-15 minutes on it, because Confluence is always something which is misunderstood as a duplicate of Jira or something like that. But when you work with it, um, it's much easier. People may ask, what are other products available in the market which are similar to Confluence? Let's say if I say Google Drive or Google Pages or Google Documents, right? There is something else called OneDrive by Microsoft. There is another product called SharePoint by Microsoft. So these are different products which are similar to Confluence, but Confluence is much easier to use, right? That's what I feel. So when you go and start working on your projects, right, in future, understanding Confluence or understanding a documentation folder always helps you. It always helps you to be one step ahead. So I'll stop here. I'll open the floor for any questions as they may be, and then we can proceed with our next segments. Okay, I can see there are no questions. Sayed, the floor is open for you now to choose people now. I think you got a little bit of that understanding of Confluence, right? I think you have been using SharePoint a lot. Is it?
Yeah. We use a SharePoint a lot. Yes.
Could you just give us a small brief, like how it looks like, or in general, like what's your experience with SharePoint?
Yep. So for SharePoint, I mean, if I compare it with Confluence, actually, compared to Confluence, SharePoint is like it has very limited or a restricted. So, SharePoint is mostly we use here, especially in our firm, is to store documents or to create or to collect data mostly, where you have to collect a lots of information about uh, it can be a project or it can be something about their info, or you can just create few documents and you can store and you can give access. So SharePoint is just like a kind of a Google Drive, you can say, or a kind of a OneDrive, you can say. But only thing is the usage or the size or the usage of the people. So at a time thousands of people can access SharePoint and doesn't have an issue. So it has that scalability. But for Confluence, right, actually, I mean, if I compare it with the SharePoint that we generally use, Confluence has option to work along with the other platforms. Like you can interlink Jira with it. But for SharePoint, you doesn't have that option. So SharePoint is mostly like kind of a repository with some few additional things. But for Confluence, it's much more easier and you can say much more you can say you can do much more with Confluence
Yeah, it's like
in a way.
user friendly, I must. I mean, it's
Yeah, you can say user friendly.
I found it easier to understand it with one glance. Okay,
Yeah,
let me do this. Okay, since we are talking about it, let me quickly share my screen again, and let me only share this Confluence, and let's have some questions coming in. People can definitely look at it, and then they can
yeah,
ask us questions, right? So yeah, so this is Confluence. You can see these options here. There are other options on the left hand side, which is basically the pages. I can always add a page, a whiteboard, a database, smart link folder, anything at all. Let's say if I add a page, then I have to give this a title.
yeah. Actually, do you have any access to SharePoint? Like, can you access anything in your personal drive? I think
I
that would be better if you show
I
because
yeah, I do not, but I think I can show a glimpse of SharePoint probably as an image, right?
yeah,
Um,
I think that would be great.
this is something how SharePoint looks like. It has got different links here,
Uh,
events calendar.
Akshay, you can. I mean, can you reshare your screen? I guess only your screen
Yep.
sharing your tab.
Yep, I'm going back. I think it should be working fine now.
Yes.
So yeah, this is how SharePoint looks like, and it's something I would say it looks like more like a calendar. You can have events here. You can talk about weather. So it has got so many elements, not just the company related or organizational related elements. It will also have elements from the internet like weather and stuff. And I'm not saying it's very difficult, but I think when with the looks of it, it has a lot of elements to it. Okay, it is having
Yeah.
so many colorful items on the screen, but at the same time, on contrary, if I look at Confluence, it's really plain and simple. You know, it is something where I add pages and add documents, and that's where it starts coming up into shape. SharePoint is more suggestive. SharePoint will ask for give you more suggestions about what you can add, what you can do next. Confluence does the same, but it looks much simpler, right? So
Yeah.
floor is open for questions. I'm not looking at my screen, so it would be better if we can have someone raise their hands and Sorry, unmute yourself and talk. Anyone has any questions?
Yep. Akshay, just
Yes.
an FYI, Sahithi has joined.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Thanks, Syed. So, any questions, team? So, I think Zayed, the team is all set with Jira and Confluence, and I think when we barge into day three tomorrow with all that energy and enthusiasm, I think we'll be cracking some good amount of questions on the floor, right? So let's
Yeah.
see.